Are you waitlisted in 2024 and wondering, do you have a chance at all of getting off that waitlist? In this video, I'm going to talk about the good news and the bad news. The good news is that there are some colleges out there that actually have rates of admission off their waitlist that might even be higher than their general admission rates. The bad news is there are also some universities out there whose admission rates off the waitlist are infinitesimal. So which schools have the best chance of admission off a waitlist? My name is Brooke. I've been coaching students through the college admissions process for over a decade and a half. I'm both an SAT and ACT coach, as well as a college admissions coach and essay coach. We have other tutors and coaches that also work with us. So if you're looking for help with a letter of continued interest, with your college application process, with your SAT or ACT score, be sure to check us out at SupertutorTV.com. We also have a full-scale course for the digital SAT. If you're not quite to the waitlist stage yet, but just curious about whether any of your friends that are seniors have any hope at all, you can find that also at SupertutorTV.com. So the first metric that I'm going to talk about today is the idea of waitlist utilization. So there's a data point that's available as part of the common data set that many colleges release. I would say the majority of colleges release. There's still a few colleges that don't release this information at all. So you might notice that there's a few colleges missing from our data analysis today. University of Chicago, Columbia are two of them. There's a few more. And basically the idea of waitlist utilization, we're going to be using the percent of students who came off the waitlist on average from 2017 to about 2023 for any available data. And we're dividing that by the total number of students enrolled at that university. So in doing so, we're going to see the percent of essentially the maximum percentage of students walking around on campus that could have come off the waitlist. Most students who come off a waitlist generally accept the position, because you don't accept a position on a waitlist unless you would go to that school over the school that you got into. Unless, of course, you get off some other waitlist that you also accepted a position on. But for the most part, waitlists, if you accept them and you get off of them, you most of the time yield at a pretty high rate. So that's what that percentage is. And we're going to look at that percentage as a metric of utilization. So let's take a look at where we see the highest utilization. We'll first look at like top 20 schools, and then we're going to look at top 50 schools or so. Among top 20 schools, UC Berkeley tops our list of schools that highly utilize their waitlist. 16.55% is the average that we found from 2017 to 2023. Of that average percent of admission over enrolled, Vanderbilt 14.66%, UCLA 12%, Duke 9.87%, Cornell 4.78%. All of those schools, I see people get off the wait list. You have a decent shot, and it's a good portion of the student body has come off the wait list in some way. That being said, this isn't the only metric that matters, because some schools will waitlist a lot of students and other schools will waitlist fewer students. So that waitlist is more special, right? Stanford, for example, is on this list, but it's lower down. You can see its utilization is only 2.13%, but its admit rate off the waitlist is 6.57% on average, which is higher than a lot of the other schools in the same neighborhood, statistics-wise. And that's just because Stanford is more selective in giving people a spot on the waitlist. Stanford only waitlists around 800 kids. So if you made that Stanford waitlist, good for you. Pat yourself on the back. You now have a higher chance of getting into Stanford than when you originally applied. Sort of, but that doesn't mean that it's a very high percentage, but still a chance, right? It might still be worth writing a letter of continued interest, especially if you have any significant updates or you've accomplished something really amazing and jaw-dropping since that decision has rolled in. You can see here at the bottom of the list in terms of utilization, MIT, Rice, Dartmouth, Yale, and Johns Hopkins, pretty low. So your odds at these is going to be a lot lower, though of course MIT is more selective again with its waitlist. Its overall waitlist admissions rate is actually around 3%. So if you did get waitlisted at MIT, again, congratulations. That means that you're probably a pretty good student and you should be proud, but that doesn't mean you'll get it. Okay, so now let's look at waitlist utilization among top 50 schools. As you can see here, UCs are really at the top of the pack if you're trying to get off a waitlist. UC Davis is a bit of an exception. It doesn't have a lot of waitlist utilization, but UC Santa Barbara, huge. UC San Diego, really good odds. Case Western, University of Washington, Seattle, Lehigh, University of Wisconsin-Madison, UC Berkeley, Vanderbilt, UCLA, University of Pittsburgh. So you can see here the top 10 or 11 here. You can see Berkeley and UCLA peeking in here, but there's several other schools, especially these other two UCs, where you have a great chance of getting off that wait list if you can just get waitlisted. So don't give up hope yet if those are on your list. Some of these schools will accept letters of continued interest. Others, like UC San Diego, don't want to hear from you. And that just is what it is. But if you can send a Loki, I recommend that you do. We have videos on Lokis. If you don't know what that is, go watch that video. It can be a really helpful tool in getting off a wait list. As we go down this list, you can see schools you have a shot at, but maybe not a huge shot at in terms of utilization: Irvine, Duke, Pepperdine, Santa Clara, Penn State, University of Miami, WashU, Georgia Tech, College of William and Mary, UNC Chapel Hill, Purdue, Villanova, RPI, Emory, Cornell, Carnegie Mellon. And now we're getting into sort of lower percentiles. These percentiles tend to be lower than their general admission rate, so you have a chance, but it's not huge. University of Michigan, Brown, Princeton, Notre Dame, Ohio State, UPenn, University of Georgia, Tufts, Northwestern, Caltech, Georgetown, Boston, Stanford, Harvard, U of I, George Washington, MIT, Brandeis, University of Virginia, Rice, Dartmouth, Tulane, and these are schools where we really haven't seen a lot of movement off a waitlist at all. Rice, Dartmouth, Tulane, UC Davis, Yale, University of Maryland, Johns Hopkins. If you're waitlisted at one of those, it might be time to move on. There you go. So now let's shift gears, and I'm going to talk about the actual admit rates. Now, this is probably something of a better statistic because it says, given that you were put on the waitlist, what are your odds of getting in at this point, right? Our highest waitlist admit rates among top 20 ranked schools, again, top of our list is still UC Berkeley, 25.1%, and you can see that there's some drop off from there to 7.6% for UCLA, but it's not the same every year, right? UCLA some years might be 12%, and then other years it might be 4% or 6% or whatever it is. It's going to jump around. So to find all those data points, head to our blog. We're going to show you that kind of bouncing around so you can get a better idea of the exact school where you got waitlisted. So UC Berkeley, UCLA, Notre Dame, Stanford, Princeton, Penn, Cornell, MIT, Caltech, Northwestern, Rice, Yale, Dartmouth, Johns Hopkins. And these ones at the bottom here, Rice, Yale, Dartmouth, Johns Hopkins, good luck. Probably not getting in. Is there a chance? Sure, there's always a chance, but that chance is very, very tiny. So emotionally move on. If you want to write a Loki, do it, but you're buying total lottery tickets there. Okay, now let's move on to the same data point among top 50 schools. And you can see here at the top of our list is the University of Washington, Seattle. Penn State, UC Berkeley, UC Santa Barbara, University of Pittsburgh, Ohio State, University of Wisconsin-Madison, University of Georgia. So there's another school where not a huge percentage of students make up the class, but they have a really healthy waitlist admit rate. So if you have gotten on that waitlist, you are special, they like you, that's a really good sign. You have a shot. UC San Diego, Lehigh, Purdue, UC Irvine, Pepperdine, Case Western, UCLA, Notre Dame, Stanford, and onward. So all of these data points you can get on our website. I'm just gonna jump down to the bottom and kind of show you guys some schools where our admit rates are under 2%. Emory, George Washington, Brandeis, University of Virginia, UC Davis. We only have 1 year of data for UC Davis, so it's not a lot of data and we don't know how accurate or consistent this is, but UC Davis had really bad stats off the wait list for the 1 year we have, so we don't know about other years. Rice, Yale, Dartmouth, Tulane, Johns Hopkins, and University of Maryland, College Park. So yeah, those schools, less of a chance. We don't really know about Davis. They just didn't give us enough data. But there you go. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. I hope you learned a little bit about some of the schools where you might be waitlisted, or you might have some friends that are waitlisted. And you might have a little short list of best bets for you. If you want to deep dive into the data, again, I recommend that you check out the blog that goes with this video. You can find the link in the description. And if you want more support in the college application process, please reach out to us at SupertutorTV. We have so many resources that we would love to help discuss with you if they are right for you. So head on over to our website, SupertutorTV.com. I'll see you guys there. Thumbs up if you like this video. Thumbs up if you love data. I'll see you guys.